At the 1933 World's Fair in Chicago, Illinois, Ford Motor Company built its Ford Century of Progress Pavilion. Designed by Albert Kahn, it featured a cylindrical building whose outer walls simulated a cluster of internally meshed gears. The huge pavilion was about 12 stories high. The 9,000 floodlights hidden around the exterior bathed the building in a rainbow of colors at night. A torchlight effect shot out from the center of the building, sending a beam of light high into the sky that could be seen for 20 miles. After the World's Fair, a decision was made to disassemble the pavilion and move it to Dearborn, Michigan, home of Ford Motor Company and adjacent to the Rouge Assembly Plant, to become a display and welcome center. On May 14, 1936, the Rotunda's opening day, 27,000 people came to visit the new attraction. For the next 25 years, it would be one of the country's top industrial display destinations. In 1953, the Rotunda had become dated and needed a facelift. The central courtyard, originally conceived and used as an open exhibit, was covered with one of the earliest, if not the earliest, geodesic dome design. The construction of the dome was a marvel of its time, but would ultimately end up causing its own destruction. In June of 1953, the Rotunda reopened to a large crowd of people to see it decorated like a birthday cake to celebrate Ford's 50th anniversary. In its first year, almost 1.5 million people visited the new attractions at the Rotunda, from a 100-foot replica of the Eiffel Tower, flower shows, stuffed grizzly bears, mountain ranges, custom car shows, and many more were all held at the Rotunda through the years. The biggest event every year was the Christmas celebration from Thanksgiving to Christmas. It would regularly draw over 60,000 people per year, where kids could visit Santa, while Mom and Dad looked at the new car models. November 9th, 1962. During Christmas preparations, workers were repairing leaks on the geodesic dome when one worker, who was heating flammable sealant with his torch, lit the dome on fire. The flames quickly spread throughout the Rotunda. The fire then proceeded to consume the entire structure, including both wings of the building. When it was all over, the Rotunda and all its contents were a total loss.
Through the years, many have speculated about what was stored in the building, besides all the cars and displays. Rumor was that the vehicle production data was there, and it all burned up in a fire. They tried to support this conclusion by pointing to the vehicle production reports available through Kevin Marty. The earliest reports available from Kevin are for the 1967 model years. So unless the Rotunda fire burned from November of 1962 through August of 1966, and Ford kept throwing all the production records from that time on the fire, that can't be the reason for the lack of data prior to 1967. Marty reports are available from 1967 on because Ford started using a computerized database that's more easily searched. I'm not sure if it was federally mandated at that time or Ford just wanted to have a better track of production, but at least we have data from 67 on to help verify cars. Cars prior to 1967 are still a mystery, but on a tip, I placed a call back in 2015 to Ford Customer Relations Center. I spoke to a person there and they confirmed all the car records are still there at Ford on card file. They have to be in some organized fashion because at that time they were able to pull up data on a specific car if you could provide the VIN. So now we know the records were not at the Rotunda, nor were they lost in the fire, which actually makes sense if you think about it. The Rotunda was a welcome center and a tourist attraction and floor space was dedicated to accommodate this, not boxes of production data for over 60 years. That would take up a massive amount of warehouse space. All this begs the question, if the data is still at Ford, why hasn't Kevin Marty or someone else tried to retrieve it? After I called Ford in 2015, I spoke with Kevin and he was unaware of the card file. Even if he was, how could the information on the individual card files be collected and entered into a more accessible database on computer? We're talking about millions of individual card files on millions of cars. It would be virtually impossible. Tell me, what do you think? Do you know a way to dig out the information that wouldn't take a lifetime or 3 to accomplish? Leave it in the comments. I'd love to hear your suggestions. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, and I appreciate everyone's support. Thank you, and thanks for watching.